Hi everybody and welcome back to the Keto Gaia Kitchen. Thank you so much for joining me here today. You know, one of the trickiest areas of weight loss to navigate is understanding how the rules of weight loss apply to you and how to use them to your advantage. When I decided to change my approach to weight loss, I realised that all my previous attempts to lose the weight and keep it off, well, they were a bit like being asked to draw something I'd never seen. How could I draw in detail my route to the goal I'd set if I'd never understood the territory I was navigating? It's no wonder we give up on trying to lose the weight. You could be the most amazing artist in the world, but if you've never been shown the landscape, you wouldn't blame yourself for not getting the detail right. And yet that's what we do. Every day we see a slip up around food as being a failure. Well, this video is going to set things straight for you. I'm going to show you how what up to now you've always seen as a failure, in fact, is your very best route to success. I started the hierarchy of signalling as a way of being able to categorise my clients' cravings. I realised that some cravings seemed to follow on from similar events or circumstances, and so to be able to categorise those meant that I could help my clients to understand what was triggering their cravings. Because if you can demystify the questions, if you can overcome the challenges, you can see your way to reaching your next milestone, and you're another step on to reaching your goals. So this is a system which identifies types of cravings and evaluates the impact those cravings have on how and when we choose to eat and our relationship with food. So hierarchy of signalling is about recognising cravings and then applying strategies to change the behaviours or the responses to events which have triggered the cravings. I'm all about weight loss coming from self-compassion, and by applying the hierarchy of signalling, we're able to view our habits and behaviours almost as a third party, from an objective view rather than subjective. Making weight loss as a process, a series of steps we can learn about and learn from, we take all that negativity and self-blame away from ourselves, taking away the need to point a finger or find fault. It's not about fault finding, it's about seeing how things can be made better. I believe that the very best way to overcome cravings is through the right nutrition and by changing our relationship with food. You start a diet and then you just can't gather the willpower needed in order to overcome the craving. Well, firstly, I don't believe in words like willpower or motivation when it comes to weight loss, because they all point the finger right back at the person making the statement, like some sort of self-blame signpost. So without further ado, here is the hierarchy of signalling. So the top tier, that is the most entrenched type of cravings, are triggered by underlying health conditions and chronic inflammation. These are indicative of a mismatch between the nutrition the body needs to thrive and function properly and the type of foods predominantly consumed, which simply do not provide those nutrients needed on a long-term basis to support a healthy body. These cravings need to be addressed by proper nutrition, real food with a focus on macronutrients. That's the proteins and the healthy fats which all the cells of the body are literally craving for. Eating real food and turning away from processed foods which do not give the support or proper nutrition to thrive. This top tier is about eating to support good health, and by concentrating on real foods, the body can begin to turn around the effects of all the processed and sugary foods and put into the cells the nutrients which will provide long-lasting balance and support. And what I mean by this is an anti-inflammatory way of eating. And for me, that has to be keto and low carb. Now, of course, as I've said before, if you are taking medication or you regularly see a doctor for your underlying health conditions, you must not just simply change the diet that you're on. You must go and see your doctor or your health practitioner and talk through with them what you would like to have a go at, because it really can begin to change things very quickly. The second tier is also about eating to address the cravings. These cravings are not coming from an inflamed body or a chronic condition, but more from a daily lifestyle which does not address certain issues like a balance of electrolytes, proper hydration, underfeeding of a particular nutrient, and yes, even true hunger. Some people eat sugary foods to satisfy a lack of energy rather than eating a proper meal with the correct nutrition. Also in this tier is using the calorie in and calorie out as a model of weight loss, when the calorie out part, i.e. the exercise bit, can't be met due to a busy lifestyle, which I totally understand. I mean, all of us try and pack so much into every day. So the calories in part remains the same and is usually fast or processed foods which only perpetuate the need for more energy-based meals and not the correct nutrition. What's the point in calories in and calories out when you lead a busy life and don't have time to exercise or run off what you've eaten, which by the way I don't agree with anyway. Far better to focus on good nutrition and stabilise good habits around eating first, and then think about introducing micro exercising throughout the day. Not as a way of balancing out the food eaten, but to stimulate mitochondrial health. So this tier is about retraining, about how to do things differently when a craving occurs. The third tier is about behavioural and emotional cravings. These are learnt behaviours where food has become a replacement for something else. In this situation, the best way to overcome these types of cravings is about retraining to not eat under these circumstances. Finding and implementing strategies which over time will remove the trigger, which is the cue to finding food because of an action or an emotion. This tier is about building a better relationship with food. Further down the hierarchy is the risk and reward value that we make when we consider how we would like to eat compared to how we're currently eating. How far we feel we have to step outside of our current comfort zone in order to create a change. And where that step feels just a little bit too far and maybe becomes a little bit uncomfortable, that sense of risk sets in and we get the, oh no, this couldn't possibly work, or well, this is just too scary, this is not going to work, when in fact stepping outside our comfort zone is exactly what we need to do when we want to change. Remember that to make a change, we have to be change. And I'd also add here a mitochondrial craving, which I believe is driven by the body's need for movement and exercise, where these are missing from the daily lifestyle. And this has nothing to do with balancing out calories. It's the need for ATP, the cellular currency of our body, to be stimulated by movement. The last tier is the idea that by applying willpower or motivation, you can overcome any of the issues in the tiers above. Words like motivation and willpower are wholly subjective and are not specific enough for the brain to follow a step-by-step plan. So you're far better directing that effort into a strategy to create a better habit and to plan to address the specific cravings and the behavioural issues. So the hierarchy of signalling means that we can look objectively at what's causing the cravings and using strategies, coaching techniques or NLP exercises to remove or replace the unwanted craving with a better strategic response. It's far better to have a strategy to work to than constantly be in that vicious cycle of self-blame. By sharing with you the hierarchy of signalling, I hope that you will be able to begin to recognise what may be triggering your cravings And through retraining and introducing mindset strategies, you can learn to overcome your cravings and move a step closer towards your weight loss goals. So that's it for today's video. Thanks again for being here with me in my kitchen, in the Keto Gaia kitchen. Take care and see you next time.